Hey, and welcome to VFX Tutors. I'm Josh, and in this tutorial we're going to be continuing with modelling our flamethrower. I'm not going to do a big face intro because we're just doing the same thing. So on a previous one we did make these little screws. So if you're just joining here from now, it's pretty much an entire walkthrough on how we're building this flamethrower scan that we scanned. You can pick up all these images as well. So we're quite close to the end. But we've still got this to do as well, really, and there's actually quite some complex bits down here, so we're just going to carry on and we're going to finish off this tip because we're very close to just like finishing that bit off. So obviously these weld bits are just part of the deactivation, but we can get a lot of this detail in. So depending on, you can either do these as separate models, but as the modeling is kind of a modeling sort of challenge sort of thing, try and get it all as a one piece. So what I'm going to do is just going to block it out. So I'm just going to get the rough sort of shapes that I want. Not particularly worried about how well, you want to be pretty exact, to be honest. Duplicate that. Just gonna put my scale back to 1 on all of it, just so it doesn't do a and it still sort of did weird stuff, but that's so we've got these multiple different shapes. You can move it back to the origin or kind of leave it there. I'm not sure if that's particularly. Let's put it back to the origin, just because sometimes it's just easier to work with, and we can move it back to double check. And I've actually not done this for a lot of it, so most of this has actually just been modeling a lot of it in place, but cool. So we kind of got our rough sort of proportions done. Although this is not exactly exact, but what we'll do. Well, okay, cool. So what we need to figure out is going from round to hard edge back to round. So there's got to be some relationships between these shapes for it to really work without adding a ton of edge loops. But so I am just going to create another cylinder. To my wireframe was shaded on, so I can just kind of get an idea of what I need. So ideally I want these sort of edges to line up. So what are we on here? That's got to be... I think that's because I've rotated that, haven't I? That's 18. So I'm actually going to delete that and make a fresh one because I think I may have broken it when I scaled it. It's not 9, it's 6. Let's bring that back first. Sorry, I don't know if I'm confusing things. I just want to make sure that's in the center, but I deleted it and I kind of wanted to actually keep it full size and scale. Because I think this went a bit funky, so cool. So we're back to normal. So there are lots of ways we could probably do this to keep these sharp edges. Knowing that probably going to end up creating some poles, which are like multiple sided vertices at these sharp edges points, which might be okay for here, not so good for these very tight edges down here. So I'm probably kind of thinking maybe, I think this actually needs to be a bit bigger. So we need to sort of facilitate. There are lots of ways you can go around this basically, but I'm going to try and keep this the simplest sort of way so it's not going to hurt so much. So if I double that, that's going to allow us to add sharp edges down here without creating too many nodes. And I think it's probably going to be one of those things that's going to be a lot easier once you've seen it. So, and I'm probably not making a huge amount of sense here. But let's delete that. Control D. Because the most important thing for us is to make sure we keep the round things round. When this is flat, it's pretty easy to sort of maintain. But then the other side of it, going back to round, it's very easy to make the round bit's not very round. That's the hard bit. It's not making kinks and stuff. So what I will do is just... I've not prepared this, so I am still probably going to be thinking out very loud, and it might not work. But at least I'm honest. I've just not prepared it, because it's just not what I do. Although it probably would be a hell of a lot more efficient if I did prepare it. But okay, so we've got our sort of shape. Let's go ahead and I'm going to extrude this out for now. The reason I'm doing that is just so I can use it as a guide to add my edges. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to multi-cut as close as I can to the joining edges. And yeah, you probably could use mirroring and stuff like that to just sort of duplicate it around, but I always end up doing things more manually anyway, just because I can really take care of what's going on, although that may not even make any sense. Like I say, you don't have to do it this way. This is just my... Like I said, these are not generally have to do tutorials. These are just how I'm doing it if I was doing these models. And obviously if you can get away of not doing it as one big piece, that's also fine. Cool. So I've added those in. So now I'm actually just going to mesh, combine. I'm just going to scale that edge back, just so I know what's joined and not. And I'm just going to pull these edges to there. Probably could have used some of the other tools, but like you can use the merge and set the distance, but sometimes it just merges things that you don't want. At least this way I know 100% things are going to the right place. I'm just going to smooth it every time just to check I've not got any weird stuff going on. Obviously we haven't got our hard edges, so don't worry about that. And I'm just going to do the same to this. So you just be careful that you're actually merging things to the correct place, otherwise you're not going to get things working properly. But I think I need a silent mouse as well, to be honest. There's a lot of clicking going on. It doesn't take a huge amount of effort to sort of do it this way. Cool. Let's go to just move it to check we've not got any weird stuff going on. That's fine. Cool. So what we now have is our actual fully sort of correct shape. So yeah, my brain just blocked up then. So I'm thinking let's actually bring this, now we've kind of got this all sort of figured out, I think probably what's a good idea is maybe bring it back to the end, just so we can get a decent sizing of it, make sure we're not going too far off of it. So which one did we use? I'm going to make sure I use the same one. Cool. So it's all looking pretty reasonable. Let's do this edge. Cool. So one of the other things that we've got to kind of do is do this soft edging. So I'm going to select all these ones apart from the middle. Probably would have been easier to select all of them, then deselect the middle, but yeah, we're there now. Just going to bring it down slightly at a time. Just deselect these ones. Cool, so now I've got that sort of nice curved shape. Press 3, just double check that I think it's kind of funny. So our next step is we want to create these sharp edges. Let's just try it with a 0.3 offset first. Let's see where that gets us. I think we'll need definitely a supporting edge here. Let's just add these in for now. We can delete them in a minute. So this here is going to be the biggest issue, I would imagine. And we probably could have maybe I think the original plan was to redirect this one. Yeah, I think that's probably... Let's just test it. Trying to think what I was thinking then. So on that one, if we just inadvertently created a weird bevel that we didn't really need to. Maybe that's a better way to do that. Let's try that first. That might be a better option. Kind of just spitballing here. I think the best way to do this, so if I bevel that, it's obviously going to be quite harsh. Segments. So what I was doing, I was actually going to do that. No, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to do... Sometimes it's just a pain in the ass. center. No, I can't get rid of that because I had it all figured out. Now my brain's broken. Let's just do it the simplest way and add an edge loop. Very interested if that's actually if that's actually done that correctly, but doesn't seem so bad. You haven't got a pinch there, but we have got a very weird shape which we need to fix. Maybe we could have done this with a lot less polys as well, thinking about it, but here we are. We've done it with a massive amount, but just going to go around and sharpen these edges. I don't think that one's as sharp, so what I'm going to do is put this back to the origin. As much as I was trying to avoid this, doing this very high poly, I've inevitably done it, ended up making it probably too high poly. So what would be on 36? Trying to preempt something that didn't actually happen, so what I want to make sure now is I just want to make sure that it's round, basically. So I'm actually just gonna, so I could match the edges. So I'm just gonna make a super sharp. Now we can sort of see where it's going wrong. Just gonna give this a new Lambert color. Just delete this streak so it's there. Cool, just so I can see it a bit clearer. Cool, so I'm just going to use that as my marker for now. I'm just going to clean up all these edges. There's a good chance this could create weird stuff, but I'm willing to gamble on it. We're getting there. Oh. Or you could have just done it as multiple different bits if you really want to not have to do this. But it's good sort of problem solving sort of exercises, I guess. I think the whole idea of the initial, I think where I went wrong was maybe I was preempting something that may not have happened, and I ended up creating too much. Well, I don't think it's an issue. So the main thing at the moment, we just don't have any, what we don't have is pinching, which is the main thing that I was trying to avoid. But now we have this, you have a funny shape. So hopefully as we're doing this we're not breaking anything, but in true fashion of how I've not really been checking, I imagine I probably have. Cool. Now we're back to our sort of round shape. So let's possibly this needs a edge loop in there to help that sort of It's created a little dip in there, which we can't. I'm not sure if we want yet, but let's add a just adding supporting edge loops in here to help with the stretching, because why not? What if we created some sort of roundish shape? That's very weird. Should be more like that. Oh, not B, V. Cool. Obviously that's not correct. Cool, so we've got a pretty good sort of bolt here. What we can do is just bring that back to our end. And sort of give it a sort of check over. So you've got like multiple different sort of edges on here. I'm not gonna go into making different sharpnesses on the edges. Probably just too overkill of that. But we do need to add this sort of, it does come out and bevel out. Let's bring that back, make sure we're at the right height. This is a very sharp bevel. Cool, I think that's pretty much done, I think. Let's So let's just for now let's just duplicate it to the others. Not quite exactly aligned, but just give that a random rotation as well, so it's not the same. Same on that one. Cool. So yeah, we're pretty much done with this. With this part anyway, we've done the sort of triple barrel-y bit, and we've managed to do them all as one sort of object. So what are we on? It took 42 minutes. Well, probably could do it a lot quicker, but the second time around. But yeah, it should be alright. Anyway, so thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed that tutorial walkthrough, please hit that like and subscribe. It really does help. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. We're getting very close to almost finishing this. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.